Hello, and welcome to the Think Moisturizer Think Agenda podcast series coming live to you from Dermacon 2026 Bangalore. We are on day 2 today, and we are going to get yet another set of dermatologists who are going to decode some of the daily, everyday skincare concerns that we face very simply, scientifically, and without any hype. Today, we are going to focus on something very important but yet neglected, that is skin dryness and moisturization. Everyone at some point in time experiences skin dryness, and there are so many misconceptions, so many trends going around everywhere, and we are sometimes confused not because of lack of information, maybe sometimes also because of over information that is running all over the internet. Hi, I'm delighted to welcome Dr. Sohini Saha from West Bengal. She is a second year PGPDT graduate in dermatology. We are going to ask her because she is a younger doctor who has seen new patients, this generation patients, and I'm sure she'll be more relatable in terms of answering us on some everyday skin concerns that we all face. So much information that we find all over the internet to guide us on what is right and what is wrong. Thank you, doctor, for joining us. Can we begin? Yes. Okay. So, ma'am, my first question to you is that with so many moisturizers and so many skincare products that are there all over the place, like even on online and as well as in the retail area, how can an average person identify which is the right, product for them? Because there are a lot of influencers who come and talk so much about the product, but they might not be able to back it with scientific evidence. So, while considering any product for themselves, what are the few things that you would tell them that they should definitely look for before choosing it for themselves?
Most of the people, they go by whatever the other people are saying, like something is good for the other person, but that might not be good for them.
Correct.
So that person should, I think, if he or she is in need of some good moisturizer, he or she can just consult a dermatologist, nearby dermatologist. I think that way that person will get a good recommendation of the moisturizer also, and that person before, like if that person doesn't want to consult a dermatologist, then that person has to look for like what is his or her skin type. If has like dry skin, sensitive skin, normal skin, oily skin, with that perspective in mind, they can choose. If they don't know, then they can take help.
Correct. Okay. So if one, speaking from whatever you say, how does one identify what kind of skin they have? Like we keep hearing this thing that you might have a normal skin and you might have a sensitive skin, or you might have a dry skin or a
Combination
skin, combination skin. How is one supposed to identify which type of skin they are, and does the skin type change with the season?
Yes,
It does change.
it does change.
So how does one?
It does change. I mean, like if a person in the winter, if that person's skin is oily, and in summer, that oily nature of that skin, that person will not like that much. Okay, but in winter, that person will need a little bit less moisturizer. I think less intense moisturizer. I think from my perspective, when I choose for myself. Otherwise, when a person has dry skin during the summer, that person
Doesn't need so much.
But that person, when that person is coming to winter, that person needs intense moisturization.
Okay. So you're saying that the skin type changes with age, and how does one identify which type of skin they have? Like right now, maybe I'm feeling normal. Okay, I might be feeling my skin is normal, but how do
Like you're in like a control environment.
yeah.
When you go out, that time, that natural environment, you will be able to
So it is
identify.
natural. So if one needs to check what type of skin they have, they should be in the natural environment and not judge in the air conditioned room. Okay, great. So coming to the topic that we started, that what is the thing that one should look for in a product, or what should they consider while choosing any product? there's also a lot of things that are written on the labels of
Yes.
the products. So I have come across when products where they write something like non-competition. That's the example. What is this non-competogenic, number one? And do you consider it as an important thing while practicing?
Yes, non-comedogenic products. I mean the ingredients which might act as comedogenic, like they have comedogenic property. Not for everyone
So
actually.
what is comedogenic? Like for our audience, if you can simplify.
Some ingredients if like present, okay, if present, like it can be varied combinations, but ceramides, hyaluronic acid, they can never be comedogenic. Okay,
Okay.
these are like fixed, they can't be comedogenic. But some things if they apply for like fragrance, okay, now we are saying fragrance free, okay,
Correct.
paraben free.
Yeah.
All these things if they are limited.
For the benefit of our audience, can you just guide us on what is non-competogenic, or can you guide us on what is what did you say, paraben free?
Paraben free.
Yeah.
Like if some chemicals they are adding for like the color, texture, or something like for fragrance, whatever they are adding, which are just for like adding an extra thing to their product.
Yeah.
That if we eliminate that, and if the simple things which we need in a moisturizer, ceramides and all, if we put them, then that thing, if they write also in the product, it's hypoallergenic, non-comedogenic, paraben free. If these things are mentioned, then that person can take it.
They can take it. So it's a good product to take.
Yes, and they should look for it also. This is also a thing that the audience can look
Okay.
when they are choosing it without consulting a dermatologist. You can
Okay.
know it by yourself that it's a good product. Okay.
And so
Maybe all the things they are not writing also. Whatever they are putting, all the things they don't disclose. Okay.
Okay. So, if you have to guide our audience on 3 best ingredients that one can just, like a no-brainer, they can just go ahead and purchase that moisturizer, which are those 3 ingredients that you
I would say if hyaluronic acid is there, it's a good thing.
Okay.
Ceramides,
Okay.
all the types.
Yeah.
They all are very good.
Yeah.
And aloe vera.
Oh wow. So we have got some 3 magic ingredients which doesn't need any weights. You can just go ahead with these products. One is a hyaluronic acid, one is ceramides, and one is definitely aloe vera. I think aloe
Maybe
vera.
aloe vera, some people can have problem, but most of them don't. Okay,
Yeah.
they can like do a patch test always. That's best.
Correct. So I think these are the 3 ingredients like ma'am suggested. You can just go out and take these products without having any self-doubt. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us in this session. I think it was really insightful. People might have really got so much clarity on, what are the things that they should consider, before purchasing any product. Whether a non-competogenic product is something that they should buy, and what are the 3 important ingredients one should look for before purchasing any moisturizer. Thank you so much for joining. It was wonderful having you all in this session, and we are live to you from Navacon 2026. We are in Bangalore. It's day 2. Please stay tuned for more such interesting topics and insights. Thank you. Thank you for watching.